Okay. Hello. Um, you might notice I have a little bit of a change of venue here. Um, I'm at my family's farm in South Carolina now. I decided to leave New York, um, and now we're quarantined out here in the country. And it's nice. I always love to spend time here, and it kind of just, given the circumstances, it makes sense now to um, come here and kind of see where we're at. It looks like that a lot of the quarantine restrictions are being lifted, and people are starting to move around, and we're kind of waiting to see, you know, what's going to happen. So I figured this is a good place to spend some time, and so I'll be doing the live streams from here for now. And it's Sunday afternoon. I did one of my first, like a Zoom concert last night with some people from London, and it was great because I was able to like talk to them and get feedback and stuff. So I'm gonna be looking to do like a Zoom style concert in the near future. I just need to set it all up. But for now, I'm just gonna play some songs for you this Sunday afternoon. I hope you all are doing well. Woke up sad and hungover. Another wasted night on the Sunset Strip. You know that these lights don't mean nothing, except all of the water I should have sipped. I'm waiting now for some inspiration, something that'll make me move. Everything's coming at me all at once, and there's so much that I could never prove. Even George Clooney gets lonely. Maybe he just goes to sleep alone, sitting in a jail or in a taxi. I hate to hear you crying. The ghost of entertainers is all around me. This is where you go to try and buy all your silly dreams and hopeless lives. For the world of man is sick and needs to cry. Believing George Clooney gets lonely. Read about it on CNN. Married or divorced, what's the difference? A whole lot of nothing. Well, you're never gonna get ahead in this town. Just hope to cruise and bide your time. Once in a million gets lucky. The rest of us just suffer through trying. Well, I don't want to hurt you or curse you. I don't want you to stop having fun. But all the money in the world can undo all the stuff that I still have. Leaving George Clooney gets lonely, and Angelina Jolie, they can't hide from all their beauty. They turn away when they don't think it's fair. Woo, all right. So that song was called George Clooney, and I wrote that song one day out in Los Angeles while I was on tour. When me and my sister were playing together, and it was a Wednesday morning. I know that because we had been at Taco Tuesday the night before, and Taco Tuesday, it's 2 for Tuesday, and you got one taco and one shot of tequila for $2. So, needless to say, tequila doesn't really sit right with me. So I was feeling horrible, but I ended up getting a song out of it. So I don't recommend it. That was the only time that a hangover gave me a song, but here I am out, and I'm like literally from earshot from the house where my mother was born in, out in the country here in South Carolina. And this place has been very inspiring to me over the years. I've been coming here since I was a kid, and I do spend as much time as I can out here. I'm not touring and working and living, but it's a pretty beautiful place to me. This next song I wrote with a friend of mine. Well, I didn't write it with him, but we were camping up in North Carolina. And it was a beautiful spring day, and we went up the mountain. We were in, the Blue Ridge Mountains somewhere, and it got really cold at night, and it was so cold that we couldn't even fall asleep. We had to keep the fire going all night. And then we were walking down at like 5 a.m. when the sun started coming up, started hiking down the mountain. And I thought of this song. It's called Leopard. It was on the first album that I did under the name This Frontier Needs Heroes, and it's called Leopard Eyes. Well, I can hear the whippoorwill. Who is gonna pay my bill? Do I know what I am doing? Or am I headed for my ruin? Leopard eyes, they are crying. Do you think that I am lying? All caught up in emotion. Who is gonna drink my black bear somewhere in the forest? Blackberries, they are lost. I think it's time that I go for it. 'Cause I am sick of eating porridge. Leopard eyes, they are crying. Do you think that I am lying? All caught up in emotion. Who is gonna drink mine? Well, the somber halo surrounds the moon. Does it sympathize our doom? all caught up in paranoia. I don't really need to bore you. Whatever I say, I'll cry and be think that I am lying. All caught up in emotion. Who's gonna change my mind? All right. So out here, one of the great things, you see we have corn planted in the field right here, but I didn't do that. Another farmer did that. But behind there is the pine trees. And, in recent times, it was just basically pine trees were meant to grow, and then they cut them down and then sell them for timber. But recently, my mom decided to turn that into a red-cockaded woodpecker habitat. So, in partnership with the state of South Carolina, they went back in there and kind of like thinned out the trees and cut all the underbrush and tried to create like a natural pine forest, like the way it would have been, before we came in and cut everything down. And I have to say, it's never looked so good before back there. You can walk, through the forest, and maybe next time I'll actually take you all out there into the forest. But right now we're just sitting out here in the yard, and we have martins and cockatiels and a bunch of different birds. We have some turkey vultures coming through this afternoon, and that's about it. A lot of other birds, I don't know all the names of them, but it's kind of cool, like when you come out here in the country and there's nothing to do, like you get to appreciate those things a lot more. So, well, here, anyway, I have a new album, and I need to decide when I'm going to release it. I'm super excited about it. I worked with Johnny Irion as a producer, and we recorded it up at his studio last year, and we're just kind of taking our time with it, but I'm ready. I want to get it out there for y'all to hear, so I'm going to play a couple songs from the new album for you. This one here is called One Mistake After the Other. Well, you can't fix all the broken things in life. You can't sit around all night crying that you've been hurt. Well, I love to live and learn, but I always make things worse. And nothing's fair in all the universe. 'Cause it's just the one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then try harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. Now, I try not to judge, steal, or lie, but that don't mean things are gonna go right. No, I'm not one to give you all that free advice, but you gotta keep moving and leave it all behind. 'Cause it's just the one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then cry harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. Now I'm falling down so many times, I don't know which way is up. And just like everybody else, I think I've had enough. Now I'm not one to tell you things that you already know. Some of us are just a little bit slow. Know that it's one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then try harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. That is why they're sad. Right. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, so all right, that's one of the new songs. A little sing along there for all. I just came up with that one day. I'm just sitting there. I was a little frustrated because I was just like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? And I just said, life is just one mistake after the other. And then I was like, well, I got to write a song to that. For that, it's my little, my philosophy in song. Here's another one that's going to be on the new album. It's called Don't Hate Your Hometown. Everywhere I go, whether it's, all over North America and Europe, I've been to some of the most beautiful cities in the world. And I've been to a lot of small towns that might be struggling. I always found it interesting how people reacted to how I reacted to their city or their town. Like places that, people have this weird relationship where they kind of love where they're from, but they also hate it. It's like a love-hate thing. And, even if you live in a cool city like New York or Miami or Nashville or Austin or whatever, and people still complain about it. And I was just thinking back one time I was on the road feeling, this is another thing people always ask me, do you get lonely when you're on the road? And I was like, not usually, but sometimes, like most, because I see people every day when I'm on tour, and also I have friends all over the world who I see. And when I'm on, wow, I really cut my foot on that banjo case, man. I was walking. I have all my instruments set up in one of the bedrooms here, and I cut my foot on my banjo case. I just realized that now. But anyway, one day I was, there's something about like your friends from high school or whatever, or college or whatever that, that part of your life when everything is new, and there's something about those experiences that you go through with your friends that you never can recreate with other friends. I mean, all friendships are different, but I was just thinking about my friends that I went to high school with, because we grew up in a suburb outside of New York, and to us it was all about like, how do we can't wait to graduate high school and go to college and move to New York City and be artists. So this song is for everybody. It's whether you live in a boring town or a really fun town or wherever. Remember, don't hate your hometown. When I was a kid, my friends fooled around. We were easily bold, so fun had to be found. We got into some, talked about art, stayed up late at night and played the guitar. People thought we were weird because we dreamed very far. Well, sooner or later we had to depart. Look to the city, oh, didn't it look pretty? The big owl was waiting, so that was the plan. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. When your friends are around, you might miss your town. Well, we struggled so long and we wondered why. your heart is full, that you're gonna find expectation, realization, self-destruction. Ponder the pointlessness, cry through the hopelessness, watch as it wastes the world's most precious gift. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. When your friends aren't around, you might miss your town. Now that I'm old enough to try and look back, I see my mistakes and I just have to laugh. 'Cause it is so hard every attitude you have to lose. That is a fact. Now you're probably wondering, what is my point? To uplift this solitude or get out of this joint? Well, I needed you, and you need me too. To know how I wish that you'd seen it through. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. It's getting windy there. I hope it doesn't blow over my phone. I have I have this a tripod and a selfie stick that I taped together, and I need to get like a better tripod, but this is what I have for now, and it kind of works. So some of you who know me or have been following me before know I was living in Nashville for the last few years, and here's the song. You know, everybody in Nashville is all thinking about either writing a hit song or, you know, talking shit about people who are trying to write hit songs. And it's kind of like, for me, I was like a new person, you know, I was, you know, from New York and I had lived in Florida, and it's kind of interesting just to see people, the whole perspective, you know, the caricature of like the Nashville songwriter. And so I was kind of like trying to, you know, avoid writing political songs, but I ended up thinking about just like, you know, I came up with this, I thought of this song, Dumb It Down. I'm like, it's kind of like, you know, you're dumbing it down so that more people can understand you or whatever. And, you know, I try to keep things simple, but, you know, I think the world is a complex place, and there's a time for simplicity, and then there's a time for complex thinking, you know, rational decision making. And anyway, this is what I came up with, and it's another song from the new album. It's called Dumb It Down. Well, the world is getting harder every day. People feeling frustrated, which leads to hate. To talking heads that think they are great. But no one is learning, man, it might be too late. Alright. 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 Now some people say that you don't have a heart. Some people say that you're way too smart. But if we all do our part, we'll all be okay. Don't have to worry, we'll show you the way. So don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Ignorance ain't bliss. It'll give you a crown. So I'm telling you now, don't dumb it down, 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 down. Woo! Now I play guitar, and you fix my car. Don't you dismiss all of the parts, 'cause life's is a farce, and it hurts real hard, and you won't get far. Dumbing it down, 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 don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down. Ignorance ain't bliss, it'll give you a frown. So I'm telling you now, don't dumb it down, 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 down. Woo! So I came to this town to be part of this sound. I threw myself into the lost and found. And if I blow you a kiss, will you tell all the town? Just keep it hidden deep underground. So don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down. Ignorance ain't bliss, it'll give you a frown. So I'm telling you now, don't dumb it down, 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 down. Yeah, all right. So some of y'all might be wondering, what is this T-shirt right here with this purple shirt with the big orange paw? Obviously, some of y'all know it's the Clemson Tigers, and Clemson has become the team that people love to hate the last few years. But been a lifelong Clemson fan because my parents went to school there and got married there. And actually, when I was really, really young, I lived there while my dad finished college because it took him 5 years to finish college. But anyway, so yeah, that's just another silly thing. It's just a sports team, but now you know. I'm a Clemson fan. Hopefully, there's not too many haters out there. Oh man, I'll tell you, it is kind of a relief to be here right now after 2 months in quarantine in New York City, where all I could do is basically walk my dog around my block and back, and it's good to get out here. You can see I built this little fire pit here behind me. I'm just cutting down trees, stretching my legs, and trying to get some air and some exercise. Trying to put my life back together because I don't know when we're going to be able to start playing shows again and stuff. So we'll see. I mean, I'm hearing some stuff about some people playing shows, and whether that's the right thing to do or whether it's safe or not, it's kind of like a discussion that we all have to have in society and among the music community. I mean, I'm personally not, although I have no income right now, I'm not really in a hurry to go back into playing shows if it's not safe for people. On the other hand, most of the shows that I play are pretty small, so I'm kind of going with the assumption that the small shows we're going to be able to do at in the near future, or potentially even maybe outdoor shows, stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't really have all the answers. I'm kind of waiting to see how everything shakes out. But for now, we can do these live stream shows. And, honestly, when I started this, I'm not wasn't super comfortable and loving it, but I think there's a lot of potential for this. And so, hey, that's one positive thing we can take away from it. And until I can see you again in person, we can talk online. And this is literally just coming out of my phone because. But anyway, let me do another song. Let me do the song. My previous album was called Real Job, and I wrote a bunch of these songs in this 2-week period I was living in Florida at the time, down in Jacksonville, and I started this songwriter residency program at the Stetson Kennedy House and Museum in Fruit Cove, just outside of Jacksonville. For those of you who don't know who Stetson Kennedy was, he was a writer, journalist, civil rights activist, and he wrote during the Great Depression. He did a WPA project where he went and studied local culture and in Florida, and then actually wrote a book about it. And then he actually became more famous later on, where he infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and exposed some of their inner, coded language and rituals and all this stuff. And he actually had to flee, and actually he lived in Paris for a long time, where he wrote and published some of his books because what he was writing about was so controversial. But he was also friends with Woody Guthrie, and Woody Guthrie used to come down to his house and write songs. So we got together with Stetson's daughter, Karen, and Stetson had always wanted the house to be an artist in residency. So now we do songwriters, and we've even had photographers there. And I was actually, luckily enough, the first person who was able to do it. So I was there for 2 weeks, and I wrote a bunch of songs. But here's one of the songs that came out of it. It's called Colorado Camping Catastrophe. And it's a true story about something that happened to me. One time I was on tour in Colorado, and when we had a gig cancel in Denver. I still don't know why. It was like a brewery gig. It wasn't like some big thing. It was just, and it got canceled. So we're like, oh, what are we going to do? We went out into the woods and camped. And then right before we were about to go to sleep, somebody started shooting some sort of automatic weapon with a small amount, pretty close by to where we were. Let's just put it that way. So some people in America have a warped sense of freedom. It's all about their freedom, and they don't even stop to think for a second about somebody else's freedom. So when you want to conjure up the concept of freedom, at least it's not an absolute freedom for you. It's a freedom based on a social contract and how there are consequences to your actions. And so anyway, I wrote this song, and it's called Colorado Camping Catastrophe. Well, I went out into the forest of Colorado Springs, smoked a little something so my colors could run free. Just those magic mountains, the flowers, and me, and a few friendly neighbors, or so I did believe. We just had a tent, and we didn't have a plan. Gathered up some firewood, and then it all began. We were laughing and we're singing, and the only thing I thought was that a mountain lion might sneak up right upon our spot. Then I quickly realized that I was unprepared. Some psycho started shooting all his ammunition there. It was way past sunset in a public place. Well, I wish I could have met that guy somewhere face to face. But I couldn't tell if he was drunk or joking or had lost his mind. But I wasn't gonna waste any of my time. I grabbed my girlfriend and my dog and we left the tent. Well, even right at that moment, I never did regret. Colorado Camping Catastrophe. What is the meaning of our freedom? What it ought to be. Well, I drove all the way down the mountain, thank God I had some friends. Well, the hotels were all taken up, it was a weekend. All I wanted was a peaceful night underneath the stars, but instead I'm singing this story in a bar. Now I was really scared, 'cause it was really dark. You don't expect this kind of danger in our national park. But a month before, some poor soul had already gotten shot. And a month went past, and it seems that everyone forgot. Colorado, camping catastrophe. What is the meaning of our freedom? What it ought to be. Well, you cannot punish me with your silly thoughts. I know all about the Constitution and what our freedoms cost. But you don't care who gets killed, you think it is unfair if any tiny teeny bit of your freedom has been impaired. Now I don't care if you're on the left or the right. I believe in responsibility as any good citizen might. But what we have in America is totally out of control. When you can blaze a machine gun, but you better not smoke a bowl. Colorado, camping catastrophe. What is the meaning of our freedom? What it ought to be. I'm sure. How is the lighting on this now? I don't know. I can't really communicate with y'all right now either because I don't have comments and all that stuff. Because I'm using this website called Restream, which allows me to stream to Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube all at the same time. This has been like the one site that I was able to figure out the basic functions of how to do it. It was pretty easy. And you can see, I even think I have a graphic up there now too. This is like my tech savviness showing. It says, please support by buying merch at thisfrontierneedsheroes.bandcamp.com. It's kind of like seems self-evident, a no-brainer, so to speak, but like everything in life, if people don't support it with money, it can't exist, and that goes for independent music as well. I've been lucky enough that you all out there in the community have supported me 3 times with Kickstarter to help me make albums. But the truth is, even with all that support, it's barely breaking even, and it's not an income of any. It just helps me pay to manufacture the CDs and the vinyl and pay for recording and stuff like that. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be able to afford to do it. And I just read the other day that Kickstarter just laid off a bunch of people, whether that's from the COVID pandemic or, and I know a lot of people are out there hurting right now and can't pay their rent. We had millions of people in the United States who weren't able to pay their rent in April or May. And so I believe pretty strongly that we all need to be in solidarity with each other, and we need to vote with our dollars, and we need to organize. What do we want this world to be? We all have to eat, we all have to live, but there has to be. We can't live in a world where if something happens like this, where it's a matter of life or death, that most people are not equipped to survive a 1 month or 2 month emergency of this magnitude. So anyway, if you like my music, if you want me to keep making music, it's just like, I need to get a job. Like, until because my job before was playing shows, and if I can't play shows, then I'm broke, I'm busted, you know, and that's the fact. So I'm also looking for a job if anybody's hiring. And if you don't have a job, if you just want to support what I'm doing, Bandcamp is the best way to do that. You can also go to Spotify, and there's a link for how you can donate via PayPal. If for any reason there's another way you prefer to support me, let me know, and I'll give you that information, and I appreciate it. Here we are, the middle of May. Next week is Memorial Day, and here's another song from the previous album, Real Job, and I wrote this at Beluthahatchee, and I find this is like the most patriotic song that I have ever written, and I just want to say, as I'm a liberal Democrat, and I love America just as much as anybody else does. And I really do resent and find it infuriating when certain people try to say that, oh, if I'm a liberal, that I don't love America just as much as anybody else does. You know what? I love America. I love other countries too. I love Canada. I love Mexico. I love Italy. I love Spain. I love Sweden. I love every place that I've ever gone to. I love. And I really think this warped sense of patriotism has put America in a pretty bad place, to be honest. And we need to dig ourselves out of that. But this was a song because my family here from South Carolina has just been here for forever, as long as I know. But my father's family came from Italy about 100 years ago. And, you know, it's the same immigrant story, looking for opportunity. You know, my great-grandfather, Antonio Lauretti, was born in a small little village called Vaggiacorsa in Lazio. It's about an hour and a half outside of Rome. And it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It's you have to drive up a windy road, and there's olive trees everywhere, and it's beautiful place. But there's one road going through the town, and it's looks like it was built, 500 years ago out of stone. And so I kind of understand why, I don't know why he left, but I can understand why he would, because there was really nothing to do there except for grow olives, which is a great thing to do, but maybe he wanted something more. But anyway, I wrote this song, and to me, this is all about love. It's as simple as that. I don't have time for anything else. And so I wanted to say that everybody who is here in America, deserves to be here just as much as anybody else. And we don't need to divide people and say it's us versus them. And that's not the way. That's not the American way. And so this song is for every immigrant who ever came to America. It's called I Love Immigration. When my great-grandpa was just 13, he came all the way from Italy, sailing on a ship to the land of hope and freedom. Really wanted to escape poverty. Well, here's a little history. America should have been named Vespucci. Now, a few years later, he had to go back, because the powers that be were on the attack. Swore us all an oath of loyalty to be part of this great citizenry. He had to prove his bravery, and he got a Purple Heart. Now we have our freedom. Well, I love immigration. immigration. I love immigration. It's the force that brought me to this nation. So use your imagination. It's a journey, not a destination. Put your ignorance in hibernation. Now, if you're one for irony, he had to stop speaking openly. Change his name because people called us names. Well, he worked real hard in a factory and started my family. And because of people like us, you've got spaghetti. Well, I love immigration. I love immigration. It's the force that brought us to this nation. Well, it's not an investigation, not a reason for interrogation. So put your ignorance in hibernation. Now, I never met an immigrant that I didn't like, that just came here for a better life. Cause our restaurants need diversity. Heck, I was just looking at my DNA. I'm pretty much a mutt in every way. So I hate cause I can't hate myself. Now, unless you're Native American, got some good information, you probably better stop complaining. Cause for every incarceration, we could have had some education. So forget your wall and end this exploitation. Well, I love immigration. I love immigration. It's the force that brought us to this nation. So use your imagination. It's a journey, not a destination. Put your ignorance in hibernation. Yeah, all right. Nice. Okay, cool. Well, so one of the good things that I did, I actually learned how to make fresh pasta for the first time. I don't know how I've gone through my whole life without doing it before. I mean, I've obviously had it before, but I actually made some this time, and that was awesome. But I don't have the pasta maker here, so I can't make it now. But maybe next week. I mean, that's one of the things that I've been trying to do since we're locked up in quarantine is try to improve my cooking skills. So, well, I have some good news. One of the songs from my new album, there's these songwriting contests out there. You may or may not know, but you understand the concept where you submit new songs and people judge them, and based on the lyrics and the quality and the songwriting and all these subjective but somewhat objective standards. And I had my song South Dakota was named as a finalist at the Chris Austin Songwriting Contest at Merlefest up in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And I have to say, I mean, I found out like right as we were going into quarantine, and then I was just so excited. I was, I've heard so much about Merlefest. I've never been to Merlefest. And one of the things about being a finalist is that you get to play on one of the small stage or whatever. And they had to cancel Merlefest this year, but I'm looking forward to going next year and playing this song. This is another song I wrote while I was living in Nashville. It's called South Dakota. South Dakota, someone tore apart her heart. So she moved to Nashville, trying to make a new start. I guess the stars aligned, just as I had a line. Since I am an optimist, I took it as a sign. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. From what I've seen, I really like it. And your wish just might be the right. I know it sounds silly that you might meet that special someone. You're all out all by yourself, and you feel like you got no one. Grab my arm and swiftly kiss me down the street. There is no way this could be random. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. From what I've seen, I really like it. And your wish just might be the right trip. Our friends were watching, I wondered what they thought. Love must look ridiculous for those who have forgotten. What am I to do when I dream about that night? I guess go find somebody else until we get it right. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. From what I've seen, I really like it. And your kiss just might be the right. Crazy horse staring at the grassland. Deadwood black hills to the badlands. Buffalo, wounded knee, black hills feet. Stole the gold and traded the dust bowl. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. What I've seen, I really like it. And your wish just might be the right fit. And your lips just might be the right. Wow, man, it's so nice out here. Um, I don't know. I've always wanted to do like a music festival here, just so like all my friends could come and see this place. I mean, honestly, really, only a few of my friends have ever even come here because it's so far out in the middle of nowhere, um, you know. But hey, maybe now's the time. 2020, you know, we're leaving the 20th century behind. We're 20 years into the 21st century. So it appears as if we're going to relive the roaring 20s, but maybe we can get it right this time. And, you know, we'll see. That's up to you and me and everybody coming together. All right, here's another. This is the song. This is the first song that I wrote for this new album. Um, it's called "Go with the Flow." And it was just like I was in Florida, and I was right before I moved to Nashville, and I was like packing up my stuff, and I was just like, oh man. In Florida, they have some really awesome like freshwater springs where you basically rent an inner tube from some guy on the side of the road, and then you jump in and you float down the river for a couple hours, and then they pick up the tube at the end, and it's just one of the most awesomest. It's kind of a Florida secret, so um, but it's okay to tell you guys because you're my friends. But anyway, it's called "Go with the Flow," and oh wow, okay. I thought I charged my phone, but I'm kind of running out, so I'm only gonna have time for a couple more. Um, but obviously, we'll do it again sometime soon. Well, there are many fish in the sea, and if you don't think I'm special, why are you talking to me? We can go on like this for many years, but I don't want to see you drowning in tears. Well, you got to go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad that it's gone. Sometimes you sit and whine. Sometimes you gotta sit and pine. Sometimes you drink yourself silly till you cry, cry, cry. But don't ask yourself why. Just go get it done. 'Cause everything else is a waste of time. You got to go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad that it's gone. Well, you know, sometimes it gets dark and you can just slow down. Don't be in a hurry. 'Cause if you're on the right road, you're gonna get there. There is no reason to despair. You got to go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad that it's gone. Now I'm so glad that it's gone. You gotta go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad that it's gone. Now I'm so glad that it's gone. Wow. Did you hear those birds? I got a whole bunch of birds living in a holly tree right here. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 cedar trees, 2 holly trees, and then a bunch of other trees. I don't know what they are. We got a couple pecan trees across the street, and behind me is a red cockaded woodpecker habitat. It's all pine trees, and they call it like a pine trees savanna of some kind. But hey, next time I do this, I'm gonna take you out there and probably do the show from there, just because you can see what it's like. I mean, it's pretty awesome, and we're really lucky that my mom was able to hold on to this land because it was her parents' house she grew up in, and her parents. Both my grandparents are passed away now, but we were able to keep the house. So, all right, I'm gonna do one more song. This is another song from the new album, and I wrote it like the first week I moved to Nashville, and it was just about my friend Cass invited me over for soup. I think it was January or February, something like that. It was winter time, so it wasn't warm, and just hung out with a few of her friends playing music, and just that's what we do, and that's what it's all about. And I was kind of in a state where I was just thinking about myself a lot, and how to be a better person. And I wrote this song. It's called "Weak," and it's about this word "weak" is something that you're not supposed to be. Men are not supposed to be weak, whatever that means. You're not supposed to show weakness. But we all know deep down that we are, and we're also strong too. But we're not perfect. But anyway, this is my little ditty. About self-reflection. You can run, you can hide, and the terror is tripping up in your mind. You can't see it, you are blind to the very thing sitting somewhere inside. Well, it hurts too much, it's unkind to stare at yourself for a long time. You twist and turn and recline. Someday, baby, you will find you're weak. Weak. When I go home all alone, no one there to keep me warm. Well, I sit still till I reveal all those feelings I had to feel. That you showed up, and now it's real. How can I even tell you that I'm weak? we've been broken, we've been bruised. Everybody's been abused. Don't pretend, don't be a fool. Everybody, everyone is weak. We I'm loving you, we. Oh, we. Oh, wow, I had a couple little stray fire ants jumping up on me there. Wow. Let's see. I think I have enough juice to do one more song. Hopefully, sorry if anybody's been writing comments. I can't really read them right now while I'm doing this. Because usually when I do it, I have my computer and my phone. But since I'm outside, I just have my phone. But I will definitely go back and look and see if there's any comments. I appreciate it because, that's why I'm doing this, just to say hello and make sure you guys are all doing okay. If you have any requests, can't do them this time, but I'll do them next time. Here's another song from the previous album, Real Job. It's called Don't Let the Dreamers Die. And I know we're heading for a recession, and there's a lot of unemployment and a lot of uncertainty now, and a lot of things like music and art and poetry and all these things, sometimes they have to go by the wayside while we do other things that are more pressing or more important in that moment. But we got to remember that this is truly, take the time that we have now, if you're not working or not able to work, go enjoy nature. Go do the things that you can't always do when we work, because everybody works so hard all the time, That's, what else? I know that's not rocket science or anything, but it's okay to do that, It's okay to relax. It's okay to stare off into space. It's okay to just walk through the pine forest, It's okay to pick up a guitar and play. It's okay to write a bad song. It's okay, It's just, this is our life, We're going to live it. And I hope you all are doing well out there. And try not to get sick, because it looks like everything's gonna get opened up, and we just have to take our precautions and keep ourselves and our friends and our family safe. So this song's called Don't Let the Dreamers Die. Sometimes you follow your dreams and fail. Sometimes you make a mistake and end up in jail. Everyone knows someone that you love who needs our help when trouble comes. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. I know little laughter saved our life, and music saved my soul. So it's time for us to share, 'cause life is not a joke. Every problem that we face has a human cause or trait. Don't stick your head into the sand when you can lend a helping hand. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you'll wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. So many people drown in pain, some unknown and some in fame. When it's hard to just get through your day, you need to know that it's okay. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. Wow. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Brad Loretti. From This Frontier Needs Heroes, and live from the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. This is my view now from quarantine. I'll give you a quick little tour. Those are my blackberry bushes. These are Scuppernine grapes. They're like actually one of the few grapes that are actually native to the United States. Oh wow, that's an apple tree. And look at this. There's a little apple on there. Wow. Hopefully you can see that. I can't really direct this camera too much. And over here is that pole right there was built by my grandfather. There were gourds to house martins, which is a really special kind of bird. They have a beautiful call. And that out there is the cornfield. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well, and be in touch. Say hello, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.